Shocking murder that left investigators stunned. The disappearance of Lila Mathis, Brevard, North Carolina, 2007. The trailhead was quiet. Too quiet for a summer morning in Pisgah National Forest. By noon, the ranger station would log the final sighting of 19-year-old Lila Mathis. She was never seen again. Before we begin, I want to let you know that due to the limited visual materials and the age of this case, there isn't much existing footage or imagery to support the story you're about to hear. As a result, this episode will feature a single image background throughout. Think of this as more of an immersive audio experience, a storytelling session that lets your imagination fill in the gaps. Now's the perfect time to grab your headphones, maybe even some popcorn, and settle in. Nestled at the base of the Blue Ridge Mountains, Brevard is the kind of town where time seems to slow. Dense woodlands press against narrow roads. Early morning fog clings to the tree line like breath on glass. To outsiders, it's idyllic. To locals, it's home. But for the Mathis family, that quiet serenity would come to mask something much darker. Lila June Mathis had always been the reliable one, a college sophomore majoring in environmental science. She had returned home for the summer to take care of her ailing mother and pick up part-time shifts at a local coffee shop downtown. She was known for her kindness, reserved, observant, and deeply empathetic. The kind of person who always remembers your dog's name. But in the weeks leading up to her disappearance, something shifted. She had grown quieter, restless. Her journal, later recovered by police, contained scattered phrases. Shadows move differently out there, and I'm being watched, maybe. According to her older brother Marcus, she'd started hiking alone more frequently, even venturing into less traveled areas of Pisgah National Forest, terrain known for its maze-like density and sudden elevation drops. She said it helped her think, but something about her tone felt off. When Marcus pressed her, she waved it off, just clearing my head. Nothing weird. A park ranger named Deb Patel was the last person to speak with Lila. He recalled her arriving just after sunrise, parking her beat-up white Subaru at the edge of Lot B. She wore a forest green hiking pack and carried a camera slung around her neck. Her boots were muddy, suggesting she'd already done some walking before arriving. She asked if the Sycamore Flats Trail connected to the old CCC fire tower. Patel later reported, told her it hadn't been safe in years. But she smiled and said she just wanted the view. That fire tower was decommissioned in 1998. Its skeletal remains, perched atop a bluff with a 500-foot drop, had become a sort of local myth, mostly forgotten and half swallowed by underbrush. Lila headed off alone. She never returned. Lila's Subaru was still parked when Patel ended his shift. Her hiking permit hadn't been turned in. Standard protocol dictated waiting until nightfall, but something felt off. By 2 p.m., Patel had contacted the Transylvania County Sheriff's Office. A deputy arrived within the hour. Inside the car, deputies found a canvas-bound field notebook with lists of flora and sketch maps. Her cell phone sat in the center console, battery drained. What alarmed them most was a passenger seat, a second backpack, neatly zipped and packed with food, extra clothes, and water purification tablets. It suggested preparation. Or perhaps hesitation. A team of 8 volunteers, 2 K9 units, and 1 aerial drone were deployed before dusk. They focused first on the Sycamore Flats Trail and its connected forks. But the terrain was unforgiving. Jagged rock faces, sudden switchbacks, thick laurels forming natural walls. By nightfall, light rain moved in. Conditions worsened over the next 2 days. The ground turned slick. Scent trails washed out. Helicopters were grounded by low cloud cover. The forest, in its vast indifference, swallowed any trace of Lila whole. On July 14th, 2 searchers, a father and son from Asheville, discovered Lila's Nikon DSLR beside a decaying log 2 miles north of the Fire Tower Trail. The strap was torn and the lens cracked. It had been partially buried, as if dropped in a hurry. The SD card was intact. Authorities reviewed the images in sequence. Most were expected, close-ups of moss, lichen-covered stones, and towering conifers. But the final 3 frames shifted the investigation's tone entirely. Image 198, a distant shot of the old fire tower, tilted in frame, as if the photographer was walking while taking it. Image 199, a blurred figure in the tree lean. Male possibly, wearing what looked like a hood or hat. No facial features are visible. Image 200, a photo of the ground, dirt, pine needles, and what looked like the edge of a boot print. Deep, too large to be Lila's. The timestamps were 37 seconds apart. She hadn't been alone. Speculation spiraled quickly. Some locals believed the camera images pointed to a drifter, a recluse rumored to live off-grid in the forest. Others recalled past disappearances from the area. A 14-year-old camper in 1993, a hiker in 1981. No bodies, no explanations. Some looked inward. 2 weeks after the search began, Lila's ex-boyfriend, Cal Dennison, was questioned. He worked at a nearby outfitter store and had dated Lila the year before. Their breakup was reportedly amicable, but text messages revealed Lila had contacted him just 2 nights before she vanished. She asked cryptically, "Do you remember the place where the river bends east?" Cal claimed he never responded. His alibi, a shift at the store, checked out. Security footage confirmed he never left work. No charges were filed. 3 weeks into the search, a folded paper note was found wedged under a rock at the edge of a logging access road near Cold Creek, a route miles off the original search grid. It read, "To whoever finds this, I am not lost. I am being followed. I heard them last night outside my camp. If this is the end, please tell my mom I love her. I did not go quietly." The handwriting matched samples from Lila's journals. Forensic tests revealed water damage consistent with recent rainstorms. There were no fingerprints, no DNA, no surrounding footprints. The note was dated July 13th, 1 day after Lila was last seen. Investigators could not determine how the note had traveled so far. The Cold Creek region, where the note was found, is notoriously difficult to navigate. Trails vanish into ravines. Old ranger maps show CC Sierra logging camps now overtaken by vines and decay. Wildlife cameras placed in the area captured bears, bobcats, and one frame, dated July 15th, showed a figure walking alone at 2:41 a.m. It was too grainy to identify gender, but the posture, authorities said, seemed deliberate, upright, not lost, not panicked. The figure walked east, and then disappeared into the fog. By October, the search efforts had officially ended. Over 1,400 acres had been combed. No further belongings were found. No new witnesses came forward. The Mathis family erected a memorial near the trailhead, a simple wooden cross, surrounded by river stones Lila used to collect as a child. Her mother never returned to the forest again. Marcus, her brother, would later tell a documentary team, "It's not just the silence that hurts. It's that the forest never gave us anything back. Not her, not a sign, not even bones." Years later, digital sleuths revisited the case. Some pointed to the figure in the final camera photo, suggesting it resembled a known survivalist who disappeared from Virginia in 2005. Others noted the odd phrasing of Lila's note. "I did not go quietly," as though she knew someone would try to erase her story. One Reddit user discovered that the fire tower, where Lila was possibly headed, had been the site of a 1967 suicide. An out-of-work forester who left behind journals describing voices in the trees. Local law enforcement called the connection circumstantial folklore. Still, some wonder. Today, hikers still pass the Sycamore Flats trailhead. Many don't know the story. Some pause near the old ranger sign, where a weather-worn flyer remains pinned beneath rusted tacks. Missing, Lila June Mathis, age 19, 5 feet 4 inches, hazel eyes, last seen July 12, 2007. Please call 828-555-2761 with any information. Below it, someone once scrawled in black marker, "She was right, the forest doesn't forget." But the truth is, it hasn't spoken either. Not yet. The day Lila Mathis vanished began like any other summer morning in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Quiet, slow, and laced with fog. By nightfall, an entire community would be on edge, and a girl known for her grounded nature would become the center of one of North Carolina's most confounding unsolved disappearances. Lila Mathis left her house just after sunrise. Her mother, Diane, recovering from recent knee surgery, later recalled hearing the screen door creak open and shut. Lila had scribbled a note on the kitchen counter. Hiking Sycamore. Back by lunch. Love you. Neighbors on Maple Street saw her backing her white Subaru Outback out of the gravel driveway. The car had a cracked taillight and a rear window sticker that read, "Protect Pisgah." She was alone. Lila stopped at a locally owned gas station off Route 276 to buy trail mix, 2 bottles of water, and a disposable poncho. Surveillance footage showed her wearing faded jeans, a dark gray hoodie, and hiking boots. Her long auburn hair was tied back. She spent just over 4 minutes inside. The clerk, 28-year-old Shane Probst, later described her demeanor as focused but polite. She wasn't chatty, just kind of zoned in, like she had a place to be. There was nothing outwardly unusual until investigators reviewed the tape again. As Lila exits, she glances over her shoulder, briefly, almost nervously. At the edge of the frame, a second customer is seen near the entrance. Hooded, unidentified. Lila arrived at the trailhead parking lot. The lot was nearly empty. Only one other vehicle, an old green Tacoma truck belonging to Park Ranger Deb Patel. Patel was inspecting the lower trail signage when Lila approached to ask about the fire tower route. I told her it was barely a trail anymore, mostly undergrowth and deadfall, not something I'd recommend solo. But she just smiled and said she wanted a view. He noted she seemed calm, even upbeat. She signed the voluntary trail register at 7:22 a.m., the final verified timestamp of her presence. Searchers later determined Lila followed the standard trail up to Sycamore Bridge, a wooden footbridge over a narrow ravine. Moisture on the planks indicated recent rainfall. The area is prone to mist, limiting visibility to under 50 feet in the mornings. Here, a footprint was found during the initial grid search. Size 6 women's hiking boot. Matches Lila's. But just beyond that, a second set of prints diverged briefly off the trail, then disappeared entirely. Investigators couldn't determine if they were related. No conclusive evidence linked them. Lila likely reached the overlooked trail junction by this time. It splits 3 ways. One route leads back toward the parking area. The other curves toward a forgotten CCC fire tower. This is where she deviated. Later, during aerial surveys, rangers spotted what looked like a flattened area consistent with recent rest stop. A boot scuff. An empty trail mix wrapper, same brand as Lila bought. No sign of struggle. A small charcoal sketch of a wildflower, presumed to be hers, was found under a nearby rock, drawn on the back of a gas receipt. According to the metadata, retrieved from Lila's camera SD card. 8:35 a.m., a landscape shot from a ridge, mist rising, trees and silhouette. 8:36 a.m., a blurry shot of the fire tower in the distance. 8:37 a.m., a figure in the tree line. 8:38 a.m., ground level shot. Soil, pine needles, edge of a large boot print. What's notable is that the angle suggests motion, photos taken while walking or possibly while looking over her shoulder. A forensic analyst described it as fragmented perception, like she was distracted or watched. At 9:12 a.m., Deb Patel logged a brief interference spike on his Ranger radio, crackling, followed by what he described as a high-pitched oscillation, like static mixed with breathing. He assumed it was technical. Pisgah's terrain often disrupts signal clarity. But this moment coincides with what investigators estimate as a window in which Lila either encountered someone or vanished. Later, radio technicians could not replicate the anomaly. By 11 a.m., no further sightings of Lila had been recorded. Voluntary sign-out procedures were not required, but most hikers logged their return. Her entry remained unclosed. Patel began closing down trail access points by noon. Lila's car remained. She had told her mother she'd be home by lunch. At 12:47 p.m., Diane Mathis called her son Marcus, asking if he'd heard from Lila. She hadn't returned any texts. He hadn't. He assumed she was still out hiking. But the tone of his mother's voice stayed with him. By 1:35 p.m., Marcus drove to the trailhead. He found the white Subaru. Windows rolled up, Unlocked. The vehicle contents were minimal but deliberate. Driver's seat, clean. Passenger seat, a second backpack. Inside, first aid kit, water tablets, extra socks. Untouched. Center console, Lila's phone. Battery dead. Trunk. Neatly folded fleece blanket, a paperback novel, and an unopened canister of bear spray. There were no signs of a struggle, but it was a phone that alarmed him most. Lila never left her phone behind. Marcus contacted the local authorities at the ranger station. Deputies arrived by 3:05 p.m. Because she was over 18, Lila wasn't initially classified as endangered. But given the terrain and timeline, the Transylvania County Sheriff's Office issued a missing hiker alert by 4:10 p.m. Search and rescue (SAR) protocols were initiated. Initial grid search within a 1-mile radius. K9 teams deployed, sent trail lost 0.8 miles in. Drone sweeps are limited by dense canopy and fog. By 6 p.m., conditions worsened. Light rain. Visibility dropped. The first day yielded no trace. Search efforts expanded to include 40-plus volunteers, 2 cadaver dogs, air support from Buncombe County. That morning, Lila's camera was recovered near a fallen log off-trail, approximate 2.3 miles from the fire tower base. It was partially buried. Found nearby, a torn camera strap, an empty granola wrapper, and a crushed plastic water bottle. Search dogs circled the area, but lost scent within 150 feet. It was as if she had simply vanished. Local rumors quickly began to swirl. One involved an unidentified man seen weeks earlier living in an improvised shelter deep in the forest. Known as Calhoun by a few campers, he was rumored to avoid contact and had been chased off trails before. One hiker claimed to have seen him near the tower months prior. Deputies followed up, but no shelter, campsite, or remains were ever located. The theory fizzled out. No verified encounters. No names. Just whispers. By July 16th, media coverage began to escalate. Asheville stations picked up the story, followed by local NPR and print outlets. A press conference was held at the ranger station. Sheriff David Rollins addressed the public. "We are treating this as an active search and rescue operation. There is no indication of foul play at this time, but we are not ruling anything out." Lila's family released a statement. "Lila is strong. She knows these woods. If she's out there, she's trying to get back. We just need help bringing her home." 6 days in, the note changed everything. A volunteer from Raleigh found under a large rock beside Cold Creek Access Road, a remote fire service route not on public trail maps. The paper was worn, ink smeared but legible. "To whoever finds this, I am not lost. I am being followed. I heard them last night outside my camp. If this is the end, please tell my mom I love her. I did not go quietly." It was dated July 13th. The handwriting matched Lila's journals, but how it got there remains a mystery. Cold Creek is nearly 7 miles from the original trailhead, with no direct route between. Officials tested for prints, none. No human DNA recovered. Was it dropped, planted, or carried? Late in the evening on July 18th, a wildlife trail camera near Cold Creek captured a single blurry frame at 2:41 a.m. that same day. A lone figure walking upright, thin, hooded, light source reflecting off the eyes. Too blurry to determine sex. No facial features. But the timestamp aligned with the theory that Lila, or someone, had reached Cold Creek long after she was assumed missing. Search teams returned to the area for 3 more days. They found nothing. On July 20th, Marcus Mathis received a call from one of Lila's former professors. A voicemail she left the night before her hike had been overlooked until now. "Hey, Dr. Kemp, I think I found something out there. I'll show you after I hike Sycamore tomorrow. It's weird, but maybe nothing. Just wanted to get your take." The voicemail ended abruptly. It would become the last recorded message from Lila Mathis. Previously, we followed mysterious disappearance of 24-year-old Lila Mathis after a solo hike into the Blue Ridge Mountains. With eerie photographs, a cryptic note, and one final voicemail hinting she'd found something, the case has only deepened. Nobody, no eyewitnesses, No clear answers. In the days immediately following Lila's disappearance, law enforcement saturated the region with search efforts. For nearly 2 weeks, ground teams, cadaver dogs, and aerial units combed the dense terrain. The incident command post set up at the Sycamore Flats trailhead operated from dawn till dusk. By August 1st, 2007, the official search was scaled down. Volunteers continued to canvass unmarked trails, but the leads grew sparse. Most evidence had been processed. The trail camera image, the blurry silhouette near Coal Creek, yielded no breakthroughs. Case C 07-1221 was reclassified from missing hiker. Open investigation to missing adult. Status unresolved by September. In October 2007, the Mathis family hired a private investigator, Tom Leary, a retired Asheville PD detective. Leary's team retraced Lila's known steps, re-interviewed the store clerk, and even reached out to rangers off the record. He found no proof of foul play, but he remained convinced the Coal Creek note was genuine. No one planned something like that unless they're trying to obscure a trail, or someone was desperate to leave behind a truth they knew wouldn't be believed. In 2009, a tip came in anonymously. A woman in Boone, North Carolina, claimed to have seen someone matching Lila's description boarding a Greyhound bus bound for Nashville. Investigators reviewed station footage, but the woman seen was shorter, older, and was conclusively ruled out. The tip went nowhere. In April 2011, Case C 07-1221 was declared inactive. Subject unrecovered. No new forensic evidence. No viable suspects. But Lila's story never left Brevard. Each year on July 12th, family and locals gathered at the trailhead, laying wildflowers beneath the weathered missing person sign. It reads, Lila Mathis, born October 18, 1982, missing July 12, 2007. If found, tell my mom I did not go quietly. This is the most frequently discussed theory in both law enforcement circles and online forums. Supporters point to the unknown figure seen in the Cedar Ridge store surveillance footage, hooded, loitering near the entrance as Lila exited. The same footage shows what may be a dark SUV parked near the edge of the lot, partially obscured by glare. One theory posits that Lila may have been followed from the store, her movements monitored until she reached a remote stretch of trail. The second set of footprints found near Sycamore Bridge, larger, disappearing into brush, supports the possibility that she wasn't alone. The fire tower trail is overgrown, infrequently used. There would have been multiple locations where someone could lie in wait, yet no vehicle was seen leaving the area. No ranger or hunter reported suspicious activity. No one came forward. Skeptics argue, if this was an abduction, why leave behind the camera? Why risk planting a note? Still, one troubling footnote lends weight to this theory. In late 2007, a man named Gregory Lausch, a seasonal worker with the Forestry Service, was arrested on unrelated charges in Henderson County. When questioned about his time in Pisgah, he denied knowledge of Lila's case. He had no criminal record at the time, but was later linked to stalking complaints in nearby counties. Though never officially named a suspect, internal memos list Lausch as a person of potential proximity, POP. No charges were ever filed. Could Lila have chosen to vanish? She was a disciplined student, emotionally stable, and had a close relationship with her mother. But private investigator Leary did uncover two details that gave this theory some traction. In the month leading up to her disappearance, Lila withdrew $2,000 in cash incrementally, never from the same ATM twice. She had been emailing with a man using only the alias J. Morrison, whose identity was never confirmed. The conversations were casual, occasionally flirtatious, and sometimes philosophical. Morrison asked her what she feared most. Lila replied, being told I imagined something real. The idea she'd found something unusual and wanted to disappear before it found her fueled speculation that Lila was hiding from someone or something. Could her final voicemail, I think I found something, have meant a personal discovery? A revelation she didn't want shared? There's no evidence she ever bought a bus or plane ticket. No confirmed sightings. No financial activity after July 12th. And if she planned to vanish, Why leave a trail of breadcrumbs? The third theory splits into two: natural misadventure or something older. Locals speak in hushed tones about the old CCC fire tower that Lila may have reached. Built in the 1930s, officially decommissioned in 1984. The tower is rusted and unsafe. Few hikers bother with it now. Trees have swallowed the lower staircases. One legend calls it the Watchman's Tower. Campfire tales say hikers who climb it alone sometimes don't return. The mountain remembers who walks too deep. One old guidebook reads, while stories of vanishing hikers are not uncommon in Pisgah terrain, weather and wildlife pose real dangers, no confirmed disappearances had ever occurred from the tower path before Lila. Some believe she may have fallen into a ravine or become trapped in a cave shaft. Her body never recovered. Search dogs lost her scent near an embankment, but it led away from the tower. Then there's the matter of the trail camera. A lone figure. 2:41 a.m. No one can say with certainty it was her. Something was out there, said Leary in a 2012 interview. Whether it took her or she walked willingly into the dark, I can't say, but I believe she reached the tower. And I don't think she left it the same. Diane Mathis still lives in the same house, still has the same landline, in case Lila ever calls. Her voicemail greeting hasn't changed since 2007. Her son, Mark, maintains a website, findlilamathis.org, a minimalist archive of search documents, timelines, and audio files. He updates it once a year, each time with fewer words. There's less to say now, but she's not forgotten. Some of Lila's closest friends moved away from Brevard. Others stayed. Her childhood friend Aaron Caldwell told a podcast in 2015. Some nights, I hear boots on gravel outside my house. Just 2 or 3 steps. Then nothing. My mind says it's nothing, but my heart always wonders if it's her. In 2018, an anonymous letter was mailed to the Brevard Public Library, addressed simply, to whoever still looks. Inside, a photocopy of Lila's final trail sketch, annotated with 3 red XS. No return address. No fingerprints. The handwriting was never identified. On a weathered telephone pole at the edge of Sycamore Flats stands a single missing person flyer. Its colors faded to gray, the tape brittle from sun and rain. It sways in the wind like a page left open too long. Each July 12th, someone quietly replaces it with a new one. No one's ever seen them do it. The voicemail Lila left for her professor remains archived in a private file. He's since retired, but plays it once a year. It's weird, but maybe nothing, but it never felt like anything. So what happened to Lila Mathis? Was it a tragic accident, a planned escape, or something far more sinister? Drop your theories in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories exploring real-life horrors and haunting disappearances.